Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship, brought to you live from the Sporting Arena in Katowice, Poland. My name is Trevor Quickshire Henry, and I'm joined at the analyst desk by Martin de Fischer-Lunge. Welcome, how are you doing?
Thank you, I'm doing great. I mean, we got a full arena here and loads of great games to come.
I'm really looking forward to it. And of course, we're joined by Henrik Froggen Hansen. Froggen, welcome to the analyst desk. How was your trip?
Thank you, it was really good. It's always a pleasure to be here, especially in front of this amazing crowd.
Yeah, this crowd looks absolutely incredible. I hope the games will be as good as they are. So let's actually start this one off introducing the two groups to you. Starting off, there are 4 teams in Group A: Invictus Gaming, Millennium, KT Rolls to Bullets, and fnatic. They will be playing the first set of games in just a moment.
And in Group B, we have Gambit Gaming with Team WE, then we have Cloud9 HyperX, and of course we have Asubu Taipei Assassins.
These are some stacked groups, and it's very difficult to see who's going to make it out. Let's take a look at the first group of games. The way this group is set up, it is a double elimination group stage. So IG versus fnatic, KT Rolster versus Millennium. The winners play the winners, the losers play the losers. You grab 2 wins, you go to playoffs. Accrue 2 losses, and you are done. You are out of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. We'll see who's going to pick up those wins in just a moment.
And today we have the full group stage, and only missing 2 games that we have tomorrow before we go to the best of 3 semifinals. And then of course on Sunday we have the big grand final, best out of 5. The winner will take the trophy, and of course the title as Intel Extreme Masters World Champions.
Yeah, that is a hell of a lot to play for.
Yes.
For you guys at home, make sure you get involved. Join us on Facebook.com/IEM. Join us on Twitter. Use that hashtag IEM. We've actually got some polls running as well. You go to eslgaming.com, click on the Katowice live news post, and you can get involved, predict who you're going to win, see if you can vote for those MVPs as well. Now, we've done all of the business. Let's step back and talk about the teams. Froggen, talk to me about Millennium. They're in Group A. What can we expect?
I would expect that they're going to go for some kind of assassins, maybe even go back to the 6 and Gragas a bit. We know Kerb, he likes the assassin, he likes LeBlanc, he likes Fizz. So I would especially like to see Jerry playing a Gazillion to give him an experience lead, and maybe a Shen and Kevin on the top lane, which would be a really, really strong snowball-heavy combo. Except for that, I think Kerb has been doing extremely well on 6 as well. He played it last week against Super Hard Crew, and he basically carried the game alone. So we'll have to wait and see.
And it's definitely going to show to us what kind of playstyle they want to use, because if they go with the 6 or the Gragas, it might be more laid back, focus on team fighting from Millennium. If they go with the Assassins, very aggressive jungling from Aranea, we can maybe see them try and catch out KT Bulls with surprise, with their early junglers, early lead, and then try and snowball it.
Well, if there's any team that does early game plays in the EU LCS, it is Millennium. Now, let's talk about a Korean team that is taking part, KT Rolls to Bullets. To Fisher, what's your take on them? We haven't seen them in a few weeks. They were struggling in Masters, so where do they go from there?
Yeah, they haven't actually won in Masters yet with this lineup. We have obviously Insec back in the jungle, and Leopard is the top laner, and it's not been working for them. Last season, when they were such a strong team, people actually said they were like the 2nd best team in the world. They had very good vision control, they had very good decision making, and they often took these very sneaky barons where people didn't expect it, and it gave them some good wins. This season though, vision control is lacking. The ganks from Insec are definitely not on point. He's been very aggressive, actually often giving up kills, and he really needs to step up the game. And then the rest of KT Bulls can then step up their game as well, together with him.
I completely agree with that. I also think now they had 2 weeks of solid practice. They didn't have to do anything, only focus on the practice. Now they're ready for this tournament, so we'll have to see what they can bring. And I really hope for Insec and Ryu to have some early aggression.
It's going to be difficult to predict this team, considering they've been out of the limelight. Now, the next team is, of course, going to be Invictus Gaming. They will be playing in the first matchup against fnatic. So, to Fisher again, what's your take on the Chinese squad?
Well, IG is a very hard team to predict, because they are very, very good early game. Like, very strong, very aggressive, like the Chinese meta is. But then, if they actually fall behind, they have big issues coming back. They don't really know how to rotate well enough. And also the issue for them is that they have these comfort picks, and if they get out of this zone, it's not working for them. They've been losing a lot of games in LPL, actually the 2nd last team. So we really need to see them step up. And we have to remember, we're in the 4.3 patch. China haven't played on this patch yet, so that could be a big issue for them.
Well, just before we carry on with the patch, let's actually just remind the viewers who is on that IG lineup. So pulling the roster up, you will of course see PDD up in that top lane, Illusion in the jungle, Zitai in the mid with Kid and Kitties as your AD carry and support. And you know, we touched on the patch, we touched on the fact that now IG's coming into this with a little less experience. Froggen, what's your take on some of the champions that we could see?
I think Lulu is still a really, really high priority pick. We actually saw IG not batting Kassadin last week in the LPL in the 4.2 patch before the nerfs to Kassadin. So it's really interesting to see, are they going to leave it open, maybe counter it with a Talon like they did last week? if Lulu and Kassadin is banned out, I would expect that Nidalee and LeBlanc is going to be the high priority picks in this game.
And I can definitely see Kassadin being left open by IG because they are so good early game, and Kassadin now, with the nerfs, very, very weak in the laning phase. If they leave it open, try and punish the mid lane there and punish the rest of the lanes from Fnatic, they might actually be able to close out the game before Fnatic can do anything.
Yeah, I agree. If you pick Kassadin in this patch, you actually have to jump in and deal damage with your ultimate, so that's really important, and it's really good to play Assassins against Kassadin because of that.
Well, if any team is going to pick or play Kassadin in this stadium, Fnatic is potentially that team. Let's pull that roster up for you guys very quickly, just in case you don't know them. Soa's in the top lane, Cyanide in the jungle, Peke, the Kassadin potential player in mid, with Reckless and Yellow Stars, Eddie Carey in support. Now, we've talked a lot about IG. Fnatic have been struggling. They had a great win streak. They had a very poor, losing streak. They looked okay in Super Week. Froggen, what's your take on Fnatic? You've played against them a lot in recent weeks.
Yeah, so Fnatic, they are the driver of winning streaks. If they actually get going, get some momentum, they will be really, really strong in this tournament. However, if they lose, they also have huge losing streaks. And so it's really important for them to actually get the momentum going. And I feel like this new patch, with 4.3 patch, with the Dawn shield being nerfed, the health regen on the shield being nerfed, Source loves to play lane bullets. If he's actually going to play like Lulu or Karma top or something like that, maybe ban away the Renekton, then they're going to be really, really strong.
Yeah, against PDD, banning Renekton, that's a definite strategy. What's your take of Fnatic?
Well, the thing, just like he said, with the 4.3 patch, Source in the top lane, he can be very, very strong. And also, bot lanes for these two teams, they should be fairly even. One is very aggressive from IG side, and then with Fnatic a bit more passive, but they should be go even against each other. So Cyanide, he can focus on the mid lane, he can focus on the top lane, help out Pekka getting a lead in mid lane, help out Source, snowball with these very, very strong lane champions he likes to play. If they can manage to succeed, shut down the early game from IG, Fnatic will be in a great position.
Well, we've got a couple of minutes until the players are ready to be introduced on stage. So Karen talking down some of the other roles and positions. Illusion versus Cyanide, battle of the junglers. Now Cyanide, well known for giving up his farm, giving up camps to the rest of his solo lanes. Illusion, can we expect him to interrupt these lanes, interrupt the fairly strong laning of Fnatic?
That's the thing, the Chinese meta is all in aggression early on. You go in, you take the buffs, you want to fight for early dragons, you want to force dives, you want to lane swap and go up there, kill the top laner 3 versus 1. So I expect him to see him spending more time, maybe even in Cyanide's jungle than his own, because they are very aggressive, they want to fight. And if Cyanide is not ready for this, if he picks a weak early game jungler, he might be in issues.
I definitely agree. I think Cyanide will have to go for something like Pantheon, Lee Sin and Elise to have those strong junglers. But we also see Illusion. He doesn't necessarily play only aggressive junglers. He's also been playing Fiddlesticks jungle, which you want to hit level 6. You can do early dragons if you have a blue buff, but especially hit the level 6 and then gank somewhere.
Well, we'll see if that can work out. Well, Karen, talking about the matchup in just a second, we've actually been running that public poll between Fnatic and IG to see who you guys at home think is going to win this one. And 80% of you guys have voted in favor of Fnatic. I think the numbers are high, but this has to be a bit of regional bias. I mean, let's be honest. How many of the Western viewers really watch the LPL, really know the strength of IG coming into this?
We don't even know how good IG is. That's the issue, because they are actually the second last team in LPL. Been playing very up and down, have some great games, and then they have some terrible games. So we don't actually know which team we're going to see. So in that case, the voting for Fnatic is probably the more safe one. But going into this, you more or less have to put it 50-50, because Fnatic has also been very hit and miss.
Yeah, you literally stole the words out my mouth. Fnatic right now, they've shown incredibly dominant games, incredibly average games. I want to talk about just their Super Week performance. They went 2-2. They look to be getting back to their roots. Froggen, coming into this match against IG, who, is very swingy, how would you prepare for that game?
I would probably try to secure something like double AP comp that Fnatic loves, because it's like Source, the 4.3 patch, it's his kind of style. So if Renekton is not open, go for that. Bottom lane, get something like Caitlyn, something that can always farm safe. Maybe even Sivir to have mid-game rotations, because IG is struggling with that. But I don't really expect too much action on the bottom lane.
I agree on this one. I actually want to see Yellowstar play Morgana as well, because Europeans and NA love Morgana support. Chinese scene, we have the Korean scene, they don't play it at all. They don't like Morgana support here. So I would actually like to see them pick up something like Morgana, Caitlyn, and just show what they can actually do to counter this heavy engage or heavy aggression combo that the Chinese team love to play.
So let's step back a little bit. We are on patch 4.3, Xerath is enabled. I'm not expecting to see him. I mean, he can get jumped on. There's a lot of junglers and mid laners that can deal with him, especially if you've got assassins. But in your guys' minds, do you think there's any picks that are maybe going to come to light in 4.3. Frog, and you've talked about AP top laners a lot. Is there anything else that's hiding in the wings that maybe could shock somebody?
I know Sitai is really known for playing Kartus, especially in Season 3. He could bring back the Kartus if Kassadin and Lulu is both banned, but else it's going to be probably Nidalee or LeBlanc in mid.
Everyone talk about the new junglers with the new Spirit Stone change. Like, if you have Aerie, you get more mana back, you get more health back. I don't expect to see something like a Mumu, but everyone is always talking about a Mumu when we have these changes. If someone brings it up, I'd actually like to see how fast he can clear and how well he can sustain himself in the jungle. And then if he can get level 6, try and have an impact on the map.
All right, we'll have to see. Similar kind of gank style to that Fiddlesticks. Get to 6 and then you can stomp. I'm hearing we're probably about 2 or 3 minutes out, guys, while they're still sitting up on stage. Let's talk a little bit about the game that's going to follow this one, as we are going to get back to Fnatic and IG in a second. It is going to be Millennium taking on the KT Bullets. Now, Millennium have not put up a very good showing over the last few weeks in the LCS. They've had a multitude of problems at all different stages of the game. KT Bullets, on the other hand, they're struggling in Korea. But do we say a Korean team in a slump is stronger than a European team at the bottom of the table, or does it not work that way?
I'll give it to KT Bullets just because I think player-wise they are a stronger team, and I think they have the experience from last season as well. But it was so good. Like, the shot calling should be the same on the team like last season. They just need to find this momentum again for them. So I will give them the edge, but the thing is, for Millennium, there's no pressure on them. They have nothing to lose in this tournament because everyone is expecting them to lose. If they go in, surprise KT Bullets, everyone will be very happy for them, but nobody will actually expect them anything.
Well, we'll get to that matchup in just a second. We're about to meet the teams on stage. I want you guys to lock in your predictions. Fnatic or IG, who's taking it?
Fnatic will take game 1.
Oh, wow, strong opinion. Froggen?
I agree, Fnatic will take game 1.
Well, there you have it. Fnatic from the analyst desk. Shox is on stage, ready to introduce the teams. Take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. My name is Evie Shox supporter, and also from me, a very warm welcome here at the Intel X3 Masters World Championship in Katowice. As the guy said, it is about time that we get into our very first matchup of the tournament here in Group A. So it's time to introduce the teams. And first up, on the blue side, the champions of the Intel X3 Masters Singapore. Give it up for Invictus Gaming. And then, on the red side, they made history here last year, and they're back this year, and they want to win it all. Give it up for Fnatic! We've got our teams ready. It's time to get into the very first matchup here at the World Championship. And it's time to get over to our commentator team. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Shox, and welcome everyone to the Katowice for the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. I'm Joe Miller, joined by my longtime buddy, Demon. We finally get to cast together again. And what a game to start it off.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a while. I think like Moscow maybe last season in the summer 2013 season. But like you say, what a game. Invictus Gaming, full-on aggression from the Chinese scene. Their meta is bonkers. If you don't watch the LPL, they just go straight at it. And Fnatic, well, we saw how they did in the World Championships. They dealt with that aggression, but Royal Gaming got the better of them. Can Invictus do the same?
Well, that's the question. And speaking of questions, there's just so many to be answered in this one. IG, as we've heard earlier on, not having the best run of forms in the LPL. But actually, if you look at those results a little bit more closely and not just the pure numbers, you see that actually they're drawing a lot of games and they're not really losing out to really anyone except the big boys. Then you've got Fnatic, who they went 2-2 in Super Week, but the teams that they beat were Millennium and the Super Hot Crew, two teams that are not looking good right now.
Yeah, they're not really on the form, and you just don't know what type of Fnatic team is going to turn up to this event. It is a big stage environment, and honestly, Fnatic do perform. Just like Gambit, we're going to see them later on. They are a team that always turns up to events. You can see on your screen PDD there, all-star for China last year, of course. We saw him in Shanghai. really is a beast in the top lane. And up against Soaz, you know, these teams, these guys, they had a bet. And actually, he's kept that shaved head, I noticed, because he had that bet back in Shanghai. If he lost his 1v1, which was not to Soaz, I don't believe. I'm trying to think who it was, but he said he bet Stanley he'd shave his head. And sure enough, he's kept it shaved.
Yeah, shaved it off, and, well, he just kept it that way. He looks like a scary guy, let's just say that. He's definitely intimidating, is PDD. fnatic, we've talked about it before, their LCS season has been very much hit, like a big hit and then a big miss. 7 games that they won there
7
in a row. And then lost 8 in a row. It's a very, for me, a strange turn of events almost, that one team can do so well for so many games and then just completely flip the opposite way, lose 8 in a row. They're back to winning ways now, but it's not all wins for fnatic. And as I said, Super Week, their 2 wins that they did pick up were against the 2 teams that are struggling the most. And there's a great shot of the crowd here. Absolutely packed house, and I have to say, it's awesome to be back in Poland.
It is. We had some great moments here last year. You know, everybody remembers the Peke moment, the backdoor against SK Gaming. And Kevin, who is actually here with Millennium, he was the Olaf that was chasing Peke around that Nexus, and he certainly remembers it because I don't let him forget it. We always have to rib him. But there is IG on your screen. You know, this is a big team, and certainly not one to underestimate for fnatic. They've coming into this tournament, you can see they're just setting themselves up on the stage, and it is a giant stage, and it's a stage that's big enough to get any player nervous, no matter how prepared they are coming into these events.
I completely agree with you there. You can see the swipe around.
I mean, look at us. We're this little dot. If we wave here, we are the little dot down there in the corner. That's just how big this place is. It is a huge, huge crowd, and you can see Champions Select will be getting underway, man. We're just waiting for the players to sort themselves out, get in the game, and get themselves ready and waiting. And I believe that is Illusion that's on your screen now. And we heard, of course, Deficio and Froggen talking about how aggressive these guys are up against the likes of Cyanide. You know, Cyanide shone when it came up against Royal Gaming. Maybe he's going to turn it around. Will we see the Aatrox in the jungle again? Who knows what he's going to be playing, because he's actually been one that's been seemingly trying to find his way in a meta that junglers can carry the teams right now, and Cyanide is one of those players that can do it, and he seems to perform at these big events.
They can carry, and you almost have to say that they have to carry. They have to be in a strong position. If we look back to Cyanide's performances last week in the LCS, a big, amazing performance against Millennium on Elise, where they won the game. Then against SK Gaming, just didn't get off to a good start. Will end up dying 4 times with Evelyn, and I'm interested to see what he brings to the table, what the changes really are for 4.3. And while we're on that topic, we can say for IG that this is not been an easy tournament for them to prepare for, because of the fact that China went to 4.3 just 2 days ago. IG were already in a plane, if not already here. They've been practicing hard backstage in the warm-up areas that these teams have. So I'm very interested to see what changes IG have made, and certainly what changes fnatic have made, because they're the team that have had a good solid week of practice.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to assume they're probably practicing with the likes of WE, because they both flew in at the same time. Taipei Assassins also here, of course. So they'll have a lot of people they can talk to. Obviously, they're only going to be speaking Chinese. I don't think their English is that great, although you can have conversations with PDD, but they're very one-sided conversations when you tend to have them. But, I mean, let's also talk about the age, because so often we're talking about Reckless, that new young superstar coming through. Kid is 16. On that IG team. He is their equivalent of Reckless in the scene. Kid, the AD carry for Invictus Gaming, and they are a team of superstars. And you know, we saw it when we were in Shanghai last year, that PDD, if he just made an appearance and walked across somewhere, there was literally a stream of people would get up and run to him. So these guys are very much set for this. They play in front of a 1,000 capacity stage every week for the LPL. So these guys are well prepared for this event. We'll see how they're going to perform. And, you know, we talked about the fact they haven't had a chance to practice too much on the 4.3, but if you actually look at their picks and bans through what they've been using for 4 and 4.1 patches, they're actually very similar to the European style. The only difference is they tend to go a bit insane in the lane phase and go full on aggression, which is really what we're hoping to see here, because you and me, well, we both love these crazy fast action games.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, isn't it? We're hoping to see that Chinese playstyle, that, you know, we get to a stage in the game where something clicks and it's all about pushing, taking fights. That man on your screen there, Soaz, who quite openly said, you know, I'm struggling right now, I'm feeling it, the pressure from the community was really getting to him. We can all remember that video in the LCS where a few tears were shed.
They were fully stacked.
Yeah, things were, those tears were fully stacked and then quickly emptied. He was struggling there. He was really having a hard time to have the impact that he wanted onto his team. fnatic, you know, they went with that double AP comp, which they've loved to do, but it just didn't really work out for them, and they were looking all over the place. We saw Soaz playing the likes of Rumble, Lulu, obviously we saw LeBlanc and Gragas as well in the top lane for him. Those games all ended up being losses. Well, when they actually picked up their first win after that 8-game losing streak, we saw Soaz play Lulu in the top lane. 5-0-9. A lane bully like Lulu right now is going to be very, very strong. I'm going to say that we're not going to be seeing, or we are going to be seeing a lot of Renekton, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be in the picks, but rather in the bans.
Yeah, and we were discussing with Froggen the other day how the 4.3 patches, how they've been affecting the scrims that these guys have been playing in Europe. And, you know, basically he was talking about the fact that obviously Renekton is the #1 top pick right now because of the Doran's shield changes. So he takes a Doran's Blade and he just bullies out that lane. Suddenly the Doran's shield, not as strong as it used to be, can't be used defensively. So suddenly he is potentially the #1 pick and maybe one of the main bans for this tournament. Of course, you got the likes of Cassidy in. They talked about that. Whether that's going to be banned out, whether it's going to be ban-worthy. We saw Cloud9 running it in the North American LCS, and they did pick up a victory over Dignitas using it, but they even said straight afterwards, we completely overestimated the power of Cassidy, and he has been hit pretty hard in 4.3. And of course, with the likes of Peke in there, will it be considered a worthy ban? IG are on the blue side. It's for them to ban it if they want to. Of course, fnatic, I don't expect them to be going for that ban. But Zetai in the mid lane, he is a big, strong mid laner. But unbelievably, Zetai, I remember this guy back in Season 1. He's only 16 right now. He must have been 12 back then. It's insane. And he was dominating the North American scene because obviously China was on North American servers back then. He was a strong mid laner way back then.
Yeah, and you have to wonder then how good he can be. Like, how, I mean, as you said, he's very, very young still plenty of time to develop. And obviously, League of Legends as a whole and the competitive scene is only getting stronger right now. Everyone is stepping up the game. We remember some tweets from Aranea not long back where he said, people are just outscaling me, if you like, in terms of skill and where I'm able to go. And that's something that you really have to think of. That, you know, we talk about retirement in gaming and in League of Legends, where that age barrier is somewhat getting a little bit lower. Like, you get to your 24, 25, and you're almost an old man on the stage.
Well, that's it. I mean, you think of the players that have hit that age limit, most of them have retired. We got Deficio right here, who's no longer playing. St. Vicious just retired, of course, just announced his retirement. These guys are all hitting the 25, 26 age limit, and they tend to be... the shelf life is finished. And, you know, actually... IG do have quite a few members that are at 22. If I was looking at their age ranges, 21, 22 age, and I think PDD himself is 22 now. But he is still that beast of the top lane. You know, they were just showing the crowd shots. It never gets old, right? Seeing a gigantic stadium full of people just to watch League of Legends.
Yeah, the atmosphere is electric. Once we started the opening ceremony just a few minutes ago, it was one of those goosebump moments. The nerd chills were definitely out in full force for that one. And I'm sure the guys here in Katowice are going to be a lot louder as the day progresses. But guys, we are getting closer to Champion Select. Just a couple of issues there with the players that are getting fixed. So we're going to head back over to the analyst desk and quick shot Deficio and Froggen. Let's talk a little bit more about the tournament.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. And yes, as you mentioned, players are just getting themselves into the lobby, getting themselves set up on stage. We do have a small delay. So let's start this one off. First of all, I want to talk about fnatic as a team. Whenever they need to step up, they do. They won the spring split of the LCS last year, the summer split. They placed in the semi-finals at Worlds. Admittedly, they didn't show up at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne stop, nor at Battle of the Atlantic. So as a team, they do have a very good track record at some of the bigger, the more prestigious tournaments. Are we expecting the same here?
If they actually manage to win the first game against IG, I would expect them to come out really strong. Like, as I said, get the momentum going.
I agree on this. And it's also for them showing towards, you know, everyone else at this tournament. They have been practicing. They are ready to play it. Because if you can beat a Chinese team in the early game, you have a good early game. If they can show it here, fnatic will show how strong they are.
Yeah, a lot of vision will have to come into play in this one.
Yeah.
We are getting ready for picks and bans. So I want to put you guys in a prediction position, right? Froggen, you're going to be fnatic. Deficio, you're going to be IG. Going into this match, IG have blue side, fnatic have red side. Let's theorize some of the priority picks and bans. If you were IG, what is your first ban against a fnatic team on this stage?
Blue side, even though Lulu is a contested first pick, I would actually ban it away because I want to make sure that fnatic is picking weaker early game champions. I actually want them to pick Kassadin, and I want to then stop this Kassadin from getting anything in the early game.
If you were fnatic, would you fall for it?
I would probably just want to ban out Renekton because of the fact there's like Renekton is a lane bully, and Source loves to play in lane bully, so he has like so many champions he can pick from. PDD is like pretty much only playing Renekton as the lane bully, so ban that away from him. He's extremely strong on that champion.
Well, we'll see if it works out. So we got a couple of this. So Renekton, Lulu so far. What else is on our priority list as far as the bans are concerned?
Both mid laners, they're loving to play Nidalee. Could be a potential ban. We've seen fnatic actually last week in the Super Week of EU LCS playing a lot of poke heavy combos like Caitlyn and Nidalee, focusing a lot on just going even early on, and then when they get to the team fights, they poke away before they actually engage. Could be a potential ban for IG to simply get rid of this. And also something, again, along the lines of Elise, Lee Sin, we have these very good early game junglers, which could be potentially either first pick or actually just banned away because they want to focus on the little bit low tier junglers.
Now, next one after that, I mean, where does fnatic go, considering how picks and bans is going so far?
Possibly going to ban away Lucian, because Lucian is really, really versatile. He can play aggressive, he does, and then like ban Lucian, maybe go for something like Caitlyn. Caitlyn just pushes up, plays it safe, so they can pretty much play any support with that, and it makes it really open for the picks and bans.
100% agree on this one. Kid, he absolutely loves to play Lucian. He picks it pretty much every single game he has the chance. Ban that one away, get Caitlyn onto Reckless. You more or less have the lane secured for you, because that's the two best laners you can actually put up against each other. Make sure you get one of them, and this is a very aggressive IG bottom lane, will more or less be forced to actually lane swap. They love to do this, but then if you can counter this with Sanad coming up there, helping Source, even stopping the dive potentially in the 3v1 scenario, it will actually mean for fnatic the early game will be in their hands to control.
Sounds like a pretty difficult pick ban phase for both of these teams. I think we've touched on a bunch of the champions. I want to talk about something you've just mentioned now, the potential 3v1. The Chinese region is a region that still does a lot more 2v1s. We have seen it in Masters periodically, but I'm going to go on a limb and say, my gut tells me we see more 2v1s in China than in other regions of the world right now on this patch. What's your take on that, and do you think it'll affect fnatic?
Well, one of the reasons they love to lane swap is they want to end the laning phase pretty much as fast as possible. They want to get this first turret, rotate it around, maybe force a dragon, and then force the enemy team to actually have to move around on the map. Maybe catch them in some fights in the jungle or catch them in the lane, because Chinese meta, if the game goes longer than 30 minutes, it's almost a special game because they love to fight early on. We often see these like 20-minute Baron, 10k goal lead to one team, and then the game is just over because they force these like early turrets. The map is open, they want to fight, they want to set up some heavy engage combos like Leona and Annie, two supports they love to play, and just start fights. If fnatic is not ready for this one, if they're being, sleeping a little bit early game, like we see some of the European teams actually do in the LCS, they might be in for a very hard early game at least.
Is there some sort of gameplay counter? I mean, outside of picks and bans, you can obviously pick champions that can help deal with the tower dives or help, control the waves. But if you're in-game with your composition, how do you play against a team that you almost expect to go for these dives? I mean, what would Alliance do?
So basically, you would want to pick something that can clean the waves quickly and efficiently, and basically just be safe while you're doing it. Because also another thing Chinese teams love to do is play something like Rengar, play something like Shyvana, hit the level 6 after the lane swap. You basically freeze, you push it up and time it with your hit level 6, and then once you're level 6, you roam to mid and you try to dive. You dive mid all the time. So have something that can actually farm safe from distance is really important.
Yeah, diving mid, something you definitely know how to deal with. Now, let's talk about the format of this, of course. It is a double elimination group stage. So if a team wins 2 games, they advance to playoffs. If they lose 2 games, they're out of the tournament. Over in the LPL, the format is best of 2s, right? So IG is going to be used to playing a team playing 2 games, for their weekly matchup. Whereas fnatic, they're used to these best of 1s. Does it affect your planning and your prep coming into this, knowing it is only a best of 1? Does it favor fnatic, or does it not really matter?
It doesn't matter because, again, LPL, when you play 2 games, you have one on blue side and one on red side. So it's more or less the same. It's not a best out of 3 or best out of 5 you're planning for here. IG as a team, I actually really think it favors them, the fact it is a best out of 1 in the group stage, because in LPL, often the first game, they are very, very strong. They come in full power. They just roll over the enemy team. Enemy team changes something for the next game, and then IG don't know what to do. They have no plan coming into this one. So now here, in best of one scenario, if they get the picks they want and get to show the playstyle they love to play, I actually think it will benefit them, even though I think Fnatic is overall the better team.
So usually when you play 2 games against one team, in the first game, you will take a lot of risks. You might go for a comp that's like really, really risky, something that like snowballs insanely hard, something like that. And then in the next game, you generally want to play it safe because, oh, it's the last game. If we lose, then it's like, it's all gone. So now in the best of one, it's like you actually like lose a lot if you just lose that one game. So we might actually see them struggle in the first game, despite of their record, because they need to play a bit more passive. They don't want to throw everything away.
One bad team fight can cost you a game.
Yeah. The thing is, if they actually go in here and play passive, it might even be their downfall because that's not their style. IG, WE share the same kind of style, very aggressive early game. Mid-game rotations, they're not very strong at this. They don't really know what to do if they have issues. So they want to win this early game. That's why even though it's best out of one, even though it's all or nothing more or less, I expect them to come in here and just full-on power early.
Well, we'll see. I mean, mid-game rotations, this is something that Fnatic used to do very well. Just another quick update, guys. Fnatic players are slowly filtering into this lobby. So once we get all 10 of them in there, we'll be getting this match underway. Fnatic, they had phenomenal rotations and map control for the first 3 weeks of the LCS. They had everybody's number. Then the following 4 weeks, they looked like they were flailing. They looked like they didn't have good lanes. They weren't showing up for objectives. I'm going to call you out. This is something that Alliance has suffered as well over the last few weeks, but improved upon it. Is there enough time between LCS Super Week and now Intel Extreme Masters World Championship to step up your game and have a higher level against a team that's going to put so much pressure on you like IG?
There's definitely enough time. Like, I think for us, even when we actually started winning games, it was not because we had super objective control. I think only really in the Super Week, we actually had really good objective control. We wanted to go for the fights we actually went for it. We didn't just go for a team fight because, hey, we're 5 together. So, like, pick your fights. Maybe get something like Sivir because it's extremely strong against, like, for the mid-game rotations. It's really easy to actually catch people off guard. I think that would be a really strong pick for Fnatic.
Sivir is definitely going to be a key pick here because everything she brings utility-wise to the team is what they want. IG wants it to help them in the rotations, and Fnatic wants it because they love these rotations in the mid-game. So Sivir for me is possibly even a ban, actually, for one of the teams.
Well, we'll see. We've got a few of those champions locked in as far as the bans are concerned. Just to do a quick rundown of the players again. Over on IG, it's PDD, Illusion, Zitai, Kid, and Kitties going up against Fnatic, of course. So as Cyanide, Peke, Reckless, and Yellowstar. Which players should we keep our eyes on? You know, who should we be focusing on in this game to really step up and carry for? Let's start with IG.
Well, we know PDD, one of the best top laners in China, is always performing well. He has a very unique style of playing, and also the way he builds his champions. For instance, like Renekton, he loves to just go full damage. No tankiness, full damage. He's focusing on winning his lane and just constantly split pushing down, applying pressure that way, and then come into his team with this full damage build, just go straight for the AD carry, boom, explode, he's dead. That's the way he loves to play it. If he gets going early on and he gets these items he wants, he can really carry games. And then we have someone like Kid. He's actually a very hyped up AD carry, but he's not been performing that well, especially not when actually IG is losing. He's having big issues. He's very, very aggressive. He will take chances in lane. If it works for him, he will win the lane. He will get some kills. He's going to look fantastic. But if you punish him, possibly by ganking him, or if he overextends in any way, he will just die, and he's suddenly like 0-5, and you're like, what's going on?
I also think we have to touch in the mid lane. Like, Peke, he played Nidalee last time, and Zitai played Nidalee in the last week as well in LPL, and both of them won. Both of them played extremely well on Nidalee, and Zitai loves to counter pick whenever there's like some meta champion that everybody plays. He loves to find counter picks for it, so we might see them leaving Kassadin open or Nidalee open and then just crush them in lane. I'm looking, if Fnatic actually goes for the Kassadin and Nidalee, I look forward to see what he's actually going to bring up against it.
Now, we've seen the Kassadin played a bunch of times in the North American LCS last week during Super Week on the 4.3 changes, and it was mixed results. You know, Kassadin's numbers have taken a hit, but is he really that much weaker? I mean, as a mid lane player, is he really that much less effective?
So Kassadin, he got his silence nerfed, and you still want to max your E. So it's a 1 second silence, and your E doesn't deal as much damage. So you want to damage with your ultimate, which means if you bring somebody that, like Talon up against it, if you bring Kha'Zix up against it, if you even bring Zed up against it, they will, like Kassadin will lose straight up. Before the nerfs, Kassadin would actually be able to outlane Kha'Zix. He would be able to outlane Zed. it's like, it's just pure outplay. Now it's like, even if you outplay them, you're gonna have a terrible time against those lane. So what you want to do is, you want to bring a TP on Kassadin every single time now. You don't want to bring Ignite at all. And then you only look to farm up. Farm up, hit like 10, 11, get a bit more of your base damage, and then roam around, get some free kills.
And then you really have to be careful when it gets to the late game team fights. Because as Froggen talked about, you need to land your ultimate now for the damage, because the rest is nerfed down. If you do it in a wrong place, you jump into the middle of a team with your ultimate, you're dead. That's the thing. The Kassadin we've seen in the past, they jump in, do the damage from distance still. They don't jump straight into the face of you. That's what we kind of need to do now with the new changes. So for me, Kassadin, while he can still be worth it late game, he's so risky early on that you really need to have a team build around it, and you need to know exactly how to play it.
Well, we'll see how this works out. We've got 10 players in the lobby. Just want to final thoughts here, Froggen?
Yeah, I want to say, possibly Fnatic should even ban Kassadin, just because everybody knows Zitai loves to counterpick. So you don't want to risk the Chinese team having a super good early game against the Kassadin and snowball the game out of control. So that would be a possible ban for Fnatic.
Yep. Definitely agree.
Well, we'll see how this works out, guys. We do have all 10 players in the lobby right now, so we're going to send this one back over to Joe and D-Man to take the game away.
Thank you very much, guys. And we are so very close now to getting into our first game of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship underway. IG versus Fnatic. And these guys, they've had their setup process. First game of the day, they've got to get into their groove as well, getting all set up there on stage. But as you can see, PDD looking as concentrated as ever in this one. And this pick ban phase is going to be so interesting, Demon.
I'm interested to see how he's going to play. His glasses look pretty broken there to me. There was like one half popping out, so it's like, maybe it's giving them an extra vision.
I think that's fashion. I think we might be too old or something to...
No, the other side was definitely in.
Okay.
It's just like one side popping out, one side in.
Or maybe just broken. Well, we are going to be getting into bans and picks here and seeing exactly what these two teams are going to be throwing our way. As was mentioned earlier on, guys, don't forget it is a best-of-1 matchup. It's a double elimination bracket within a group, so basically the rule is win 2 games, you go through into the playoffs, lose 2 games, and you're going out in the group stage. We see the first bans coming out. Lee Sin banned away from Cyanide, and the first Renekton ban of the tournament. Yeah,
no surprise there. We knew it was going to be against PDD. He is a monster on that champion, and that's a respect ban straight away as well. Aatrox taken away from Cyanide. IG clearly remember what Cyanide was like in the World Championships.
Yeah, Aatrox taken away, but has he been practicing it? Because he's not brought this Aatrox to the table so far this season. We'll have to see about that one. Kayle taken away as well. We've seen the more utility style Kayle as she is now after those slight changes, slight nerfs, I guess we could say, to her damage output overall, but a big speed boost that you get from the heal as well. We've seen that in the support role in Europe as well.
Exactly,
so see about that one. Elise gone as well.
Yeah, I mean, N-Rated's been running that Kayle lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if Yellowstar maybe would think about picking it up. It's obviously former member of that team, so it's something they're certainly going to look at. Yeah. Final ban is against Evelynn. That means Kassadin is open, but I'm not sure, as Froggen said, that whether they're going to go for it. It's Yasuo straight away, first pick.
Yeah, locked in there, and no real messing around from IG, so obviously feeling very comfortable about that one. Not a champion they've brought to the table so far in the LPL, although we have seen, I think, sporadic Yasuo picks across the board, but for me, a very interesting first choice.
And you got to wonder, has Yasuo been actually enabled in the Chinese scene? I'm not sure if it was, because obviously they've only just got to the 4.2, only 4.3 coming in shortly, so it's probably only just been enabled in China, which is why maybe Fnatic just simply hadn't done the research on this one because they weren't expecting it.
I think it's harder for Fnatic to research IG than the other way around at this point, because Fnatic, they're coming in off 4 games last week, plenty of stuff to watch. Obviously, not on this patch, not on 4.3, we played on 4.2 last week. It was the North American LCS that was first to bring that one out. But here is Lulu. We heard earlier on from the analyst, Lucian, a very strong pick at this stage, and the Lulu coming in there. And again, we don't know whether that Lulu's in the top lane for Soaz, in the mid lane for Peke, or hell, even a support Lulu.
Yeah, because Soaz, like you say, he ran it last week, didn't he? Or was it last week, Super Week, or was it 2 weeks ago? I'm not too sure in the top lane. Fantastic. And LeBlanc as well. There's so many champions out there. And actually, China has been running LeBlanc support as well, so that's another option. There's so many things that could happen in this one. Wukong being considered in the jungle for Illusion, but if it is, well, you can see they're clearly discussing. Is it going to be Nocturne? Is it going to be Wukong? Which way do we want to go with this one? Pantheon open, remember. A lot of Europeans have been running that one. Cyanide certainly has gone towards it, but actually Wukong is kind of taking it away from Cyanide. That's the jungler he's been heading towards lately.
Yeah, had a couple of good games actually with Wukong in the past couple of weeks in the LCS as well. But right now, IG are sat with both Wukong, and then we'd see the change over there to Thresh. So support Thresh coming in, not going to allow fnatic to have that Lucian Thresh lane. Interested to see what AD carry comes of that. We can, I guess Caitlyn at this point to go in with Thresh, but Wukong will be in there for IG. What are fnatic going to go for now? We have the Lulu in there. We've got an AD carry. No pressure to pick themselves up a support right now, but also at the same time keep things hidden maybe for the last picks.
Well, the top lane's clearly going to be an important one now. Is that Lulu in the top lane? Are they going to try and take something? Because obviously we're going to see what PDD has to offer. That may even be Yasuo in the top lane for PDD. Who knows? He is an aggressive champion. We do see, of course, the Thresh that came out. That's an interesting one because it has been banned away a lot from Kitties. He tends to run Alistair. That tends to be what he goes with for IG. We haven't seen that for so long in Europe, or certainly to be successful in Europe. It looks like it may well be the Nocturne for Cyanide in there, and there is the Annie. So the Annie Lucian, strong bottom lane for fnatic.
Yeah, Annie Lucian in there, and Nocturne, another interesting one. We've seen it hit and miss again in the European LCS. People have been playing it as a counter in there to Pantheon, and I think, again, it's going to be down to a similar thing. Wukong not very strong when it comes to ganks and control up until he hits level 6 and he's got that Cyclone available to him. And at the same time, once Nocturne hits his level 6 as well, he's got that paranoia to cover huge areas of the map to actually get around. What are IG going to be finishing off with here, though? Vayne being hovered over now as the AD carry. They did actually play it a little bit earlier on in the season. They've also had a lot of Lulu in there. Lulu. A lot of Lucian in there, which is already taken by fnatic. And currently hovering over Shyvana for the top lane. And again, something that PDD has already played this season in LPL.
Yeah, so Shyvana locked in. I'm so interested if this Vayne gets locked in, because we heard it ourselves from Candy Panda just a week ago talking about the Vayne pick. He said you can't play it unless you got Annie alongside him or banned away. You cannot play it against an Annie. And yet, they've just picked it into an Annie. So how that one's going to work, who knows? Of course, if you land a hook from the Thresh, gets that death sentence in there, it could go all Pete Tong for Reckless. It would be all sorts of trouble. So, final pick for fnatic. Will this be another mid laner, a double AP comp, which they have been running a number of times in the European and LCS? Will we see something for Peke, or will it be a standard top laner for Soaz?
Well, one thing that works in IG's favor here, or something that they've done, he talks about how you don't really want to have that Vayne in there. There's a Kassadin being hovered over by Peke, but IG love to lane swap, which means that this Vayne pick actually can be a little bit safer, and also the fact that it's not going to allow Soaz to have quite the bullying effect that he likes to have in that top lane. It'll make PDD's life a little bit easier as well. But will they actually select this Kassadin? Is Peke confident enough to take this one after the changes that he's had? Obviously, Kassadin here in this very arena was his big champion, and it is going to be a Kassadin pickup for the first game of the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship.
No messing around. It's the champion Peke was made famous for right here in Katowice. Fantastic. And we're going to see how this works out. We talked about it straight away. As soon as that Lulu was locked in, we think that was Soaz, and that's what he ran before. So a Soaz up against Shyvana on Lulu, that's an interesting play straight away. And remember, we were talking about the Doran's shield. It's not as strong, so probably PDD will be taking that Doran's Blade start. That actually may put him in hot water up against Soaz. So we've seen this a lot of times in China. They do like to lane swap. I wonder if they're going to try and aim for that, which is, of course, with that Vayne Thresh would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen for them here. We can actually see that Kid at this very moment is running with Cleanse Flash. So obviously feeling that he needs to play a little bit safer with this Vayne to have that extra utility someone is playing there rather than the more standard barrier that we actually see coming out of the AD carries more often. But this is our first game. You guys at home voted 80% in favor of fnatic, and I actually I feel that this is definitely not an 80-20 game. This is much closer on paper.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the Kassadin is going to work out for him. We saw High was running it for Cloud9 against Dignitas, and they felt they overestimated that pick. I wonder if fnatic have done the same thing. We will have to find out. This is going to be a interesting game. And let's not forget the crazy aggression that IG tend to show in their games. If you've not watched them, they will chase kills. They will look on the hunt for kills. Objectives may not follow because they just want to get those kills. They will chase you to the ends of the earth, and it's something that fnatic are known as. Peke's made some of the great escapes himself with the likes of Nidalee, with the Kassadin, of course, with that backdoor. So definitely going to be an interesting one to watch. Game 1 of the Intel Extreme Masters. So
excited to see how this one goes down. Don't forget, guys, it is best of 1. You're halfway to the playoffs if you pick up the victory, but we are going to go in game. It's IG versus fnatic here, the first game of the Intel Extreme Masters Season 8 World Championship. And we can see that right away from the start. This is something that we really have to talk about. The supports both going for that Doran shield despite the changes.
Yeah, and that's an interesting start. Of course, Doran's ring being picked up by Soaz in that top lane as well, so he's going to be trying to put some pressure onto PDD. Let's see if they do go for those lane swaps. At the moment, we haven't seen a great deal of level 1 aggression from really any teams. Millennium, who are in attendance, are one of those few teams that do it, so we'll see whether they continue. Of course, that's what really got them there in Sao Paulo. That's what won them that event, their full-on aggressive state. And IG, well, we can see a bit of dancing in the mid lane, wiggling of the bomb for Illusion up against Peke. And Peke, he's obviously going to be playing very passive in the early levels up against ZZTai. Can't really do a great deal until he hits that level 6, but actually, I think that's not a bad matchup, you know, because we're going to have a Yasuo. He wants to get in here, he wants to get his Q, his Steel Tempest onto you, but every time he's going to get just about in range, Peke is going to be able to use that Null Sphere.
Yeah, if he doesn't have to use that for farming because of the pure harassment that's going to come down onto him. We'll see where everyone ends up in this one. We can see already Kassadin is heading down towards the bottom lane, and the AD carry and support from fnatic up towards the mid. Early wards just came out there down on that bottom side, and it's actually forced Peke to recall, so that's going to see the swap coming in. Meanwhile, IG are doing exactly the same, switching their AD carry and support up towards the top side of the map.
So they do want to get that 2v1. We'll see whether it sticks around. We do see Yellowstone and Reckless. There they are in that bottom lane. And it does mean it will be a blue buff start for Illusion with the help of Kiddies and Kid. So keep your eye on this one. Well, obviously, what they want to do, they want to try and get that Vayne fed as quickly and as much as possible. But Soaz, with the Glitter Lance, can farm from very long range. Of course, if he gets caught out by the hook, he's in all sorts of trouble. That's no doubt about that one. But he's not going to have any problems farming here.
No, shouldn't have too much problem. We can expect that Kitties is going to be right up in his face this entire time. We can see that PDD, knowing that he's late down to that bottom lane, actually trying to get as much experience as he can from the jungle. Did in fact recall from that one, which will give him a little bit more to work with in that 2v1. And we can see that a ward was just picked up by him on that first trip back. Meanwhile, Illusion, he is all over the place right now. Up on the top side of the fnatic jungle, we've got Yellow Star down on the bottom side of IG's jungle, along with Cyanide now. They're going to go for a double red buff start. Yeah, straight in there, going for that steal. Let's see if it works out well for them. They have the stun in there. PDD is about to come around and check it. I'm wondering whether he's going to find Cyanide. Looks like it is going to be a successful red buff steal for him. So Cyanide will back off in there, and of course Illusion doing the same thing. So, let's see how this one works out. Shyvana, PDD, of course, went and hasn't hit level 2 yet, despite that farm he took. He obviously went across towards the raids and staying well away. There was the level 2 hit, but you can see fnatic putting a lot of pressure down. So, really, it's all about keeping your eye on that farm. Soaz taking a hell of a lot of aggression in that top lane. This is what we expected. We said, if he gets caught out, that condemn on the wall, which he just had there. Of course, Lulu inherently just does not have the hit points to get caught out by Vayne. Yeah, Flash completely saved his life there as well. If he'd have not have flashed that condemn, he would have been knocked into the wall much sooner, and they probably would have been able to finish him off. If we look at Illusion though, oh, Peke in the mid lane, gonna get dove on here by ZZTai, and that is first blood coming in from IG so very quickly in this game. 4 minutes in, we talked about how the struggle for Peke in this early game might come back to haunt him. That's exactly what happens. Meanwhile, Cyanide finally going up towards his blue buff, and IG going for Soaz. Nice dodge of the hook, but they're going to condemn him against the wall. Flay comes in, exhaust goes down. There is the shield, but it's not enough. Kid picks up the kill. 2-0 IG. That is the aggression that we talked about, and IG, well, along with the rest of China, are very much known for this one. It was WE that started all that aggression off with the lane swaps, and of course CLG EU were the ones that managed to counter it and figure out how to work it. And fnatic, well, they're going to have to do the same now because they're seeing how that early aggression pays off. And
Once IG get ahead, I start to fear for Fnatic because they are a team that thrives on getting that early aggression, that early pressure down. And Fnatic, well, they have a good late game team. Of course, the Kassadin is going to take a long time to get going, but the fact that he just used that flash, used that teleport, everything was burnt there to try and keep himself safe, and it did not work. And ZZ-Tai, if he can get that Yasuo going, it's a danger.
Yeah, I think Peke is basically going to get mullered now in this mid lane. There's not much chance of him of having a real go at there. You see his damage back onto ZZ-Tai is behind. He's way behind. 37 to 18 CS. That kill coming in as well. ZZ-Tai showing that he certainly has this Yasuo down. Meanwhile, we do see Cyanide coming in from the side, but will they be able to lock him down? ZZ-Tai here moving in forward. Illusion and PDD both come up from this bottom side, and we can see that already that chaotic play style of the Chinese team really coming in nicely. They are going to lose this bottom turret. First one of the game going over to Fnatic. What are they going to do to react to this one? They're farming out really well right now. 45 to 25 in the mid lane. Vayne a little bit behind in CS, but of course picked up that kill earlier.
But look at the difference. Soaz has just got 2 CS. I thought he was going to farm well, but he's actually been pressured so heavily in that top lane. He's not been able to get near it, and Kid is doing a grand job at keeping him bay. As you mentioned, Reckless has got that advantage, big CS advantage, and they're continuing pushing here. So PDD, he's been pressured onto his inner turret. Remember, those bottom turrets are much weaker until they hit the 8-minute mark. PDD still taking pressure. He's going to try and keep them away from that base. He's now strong enough that he can farm the wave slightly quicker. Of course, he's got probably, what, 2 points in Burning Agony there, so he will be able to farm it out. Burning Agony is Mundo. But he is managing to keep him at bay here. Reckless and Yellowstar, what are they going to do? They're backing off, so as again, taking damage. And IG are doing a great job of just keeping that wave, keeping it frozen, really. And so as he's having to put himself in danger every single time, which is why we see Cyanide coming up towards his top lane. Yeah,
Cyanide has to help him out at this point. 20 CS he is behind now of that of PDD, and you can only expect, really, that we see a little bit more help coming in. Annie is actually on that top side, so Yellowstar is going to get involved on this top lane, as Soaz there, just out of range of that death sentence coming out from Kitties. But Soaz is pushing himself out, and they should be aware that something's going to happen here. Yellowstar coming around from the side. Where's the stun going to come in? That's a good condemn from Kid. Yellowstar forced straight back out. No action to be had, and that's a 3-man Fnatic team on this top side, but I'm not sure what exactly they're going to be able to achieve apart from pushing that lane straight out here.
Yeah, the rotate coming round. Reckless did not follow. He's still down in that bottom lane, so it is actually just the top laner support and jungler trying to push on this tower. We can see Illusion ready and waiting. They are well aware of this situation. They know how to deal with these dives on towards the towers, which is why they're already in position, already countering it. Look at the mid lane though. Peke is in desperate trouble. He's hit level 6. He's already down to half health, and ZZ-Tai putting so much pressure on him. He's got 20 CS farm. That's a big chunk of gold advantage. And Peke, he's just going to have to sit and absorb the pressure and farm. And the rest of Fnatic, of course, without Peke roaming, which is what he wants to be doing, are going to have to sit. Everybody's just going to have to sit and absorb pressure here, because it's going to be a slow game for Fnatic to start.
Yeah, it's meant that Yellowstar obviously has to be a bit more of a roaming support this game. It's left Reckless, pretty much to farm on his own in that bottom lane against PDD, who's only got that Doran shield. Not really too much of a danger to Reckless at this point, who's got a BF sword, so he can certainly hold his own at that point. So despite the fact that Yellowstar had to roam about a bit, not really hurting them too much, but it leaves Yellowstar still a little bit far behind on levels. Only level 4 up until now, but this is a nice move from Fnatic, collapsing in onto the Dragon, simply having that positional advantage once Annie goes down to the bottom, and Cyanide's on the bottom side of the map. First Dragon of the game here, going to be going over to Fnatic.
Great move, completely caught IG napping there. They've been focused so much on their rotations in the lane phases, they completely forgot about the big objective that was the Dragon, and then you can see the gold. Look at that, just pulled them to 400 gold between them, and that is exactly what they needed. The experience being shared across there. The Catalyst is now being picked up by Peke. He's going to be a bit stronger in that mid lane, but we do see the static shift for ZZ-Tai. That's a worry, because once he starts getting, if he can get that Infinity Edge next, which is what he's going to be looking for, there is a serious danger. The likes of Soaz could get squatted basically by him, along with the Yellowstar or something like that. So that's the target he's going to be going for. They need to try and figure something out to counter this ZZ-Tai, because he is not going to stop. He's got a big CS advantage, and he's going to start roaming any moment.
farming up a storm. Illusion is actually coming over onto this top side as well. He has now passed that level 6 mark, so he does have his Cyclone available, which is where Illusion's really going to have his biggest impact, whether that's with a Lantern specifically here, maybe from Kitties to get him into position. Bottom lane, once again, was pushed out again and again by fnatic, just trying to keep the pressure on that front. But now, IG pushing his top lane. Soaz can't actually stick around. He's far too squishy. They can dive him easily.
Yeah, that's a 3-man push. They have the timers because the blue buff is just being taken. So Cyanide and Pekka were down there. There was no help for Soaz in that top lane, and that's a turret going across to IG. Their first one of the game. Pekka now with that blue buff. Or is he? I'm going to try to... Yes, he has. He could just about make it out on the bottom of him. It's one of those skins that you can see, of course, with that Rift Wolf. It's going to start building up those force pulses. Where is Z-Tai going? He's going to start invading, and this is starting the pressure that he's starting to put on the team. He's just farming wherever he likes right now. Completely messed up there, though. Didn't want to slide too far away.
No, I don't think he actually meant to go through the wall there. That's what happens sometimes. And look at the style that we were expecting from IG. They've taken that top turret just from pure pressure. They rotate straight around into this mid lane, and they're going to put pressure on that one. fnatic have to react to this one, otherwise they're going to lose that outer turret once again.
Yeah, they can see 3 members all shoving in there. We got down the bottom is PDD. That middle turret, well, they've only taken about half the damage, so no matter how much pressure Pekka's been under, they haven't got a great deal of damage there. And Reckless, he's staying close by on this bottom turret. They don't want to lose this one out. He's going to, of course, got the culling available if he were required. But now we can see 4 members in towards this mid laners. It's going to be 5 shortly. Rift walk from Pekka, making himself avoid that one, but this is a big push from IG. Nothing fnatic can do to counter this.
Yeah, it's a simple push onto that mid lane. They took the top, they brought the jungler in there for extra firepower as well. An easy turret pickup from IG. PDD had actually started to come up towards this mid lane as well, and it's not really rocket science what they're doing here, IG. You see, swift rotation straight down onto the bottom side. They're looking for that 3rd and final outer turret.
Yeah, they don't want to let Pekka get some free farm, but 3 members of IG back in towards his bottom lane, and really only 2 members just coming down. Reckless and Yellowstar going to play defensive duties. They need to make sure they've got good ward coverage, because you can bet your boots Z-Tai will be looking to make some kills. Teleport coming out here. Where's Pekka going? He's coming around the backside of them.
Yeah, but can he get in there for the damage? There's a flash. Timbers comes in nice to the culling as well, but they actually went onto the decoy. Kitties is going to die, but can they get any more? Kid pushed onto, he'll knock Pekka back, and we actually see Z-Tai coming around. Pekka needs to be real careful right here. Dives in on top of Illusion. Illusion still has his ultimate. There's the decoy, flashes in, Cyclone comes out. Here comes Z-Tai. The pain coming down for fnatic. Yellowstar's going to die. Pekka goes low. He dives into the back, but Kid gets a double. Reckless is going to fall as well, and IG rip fnatic to pieces.
Well, get wrecked is the tagline for fnatic, but Z-Tai just stomped his way through with the partnership. Kid, he's taken so low by Pekka. Pekka just went for the balls deep maneuver, dived straight on towards him, just did not have the hit points to take him down. Cyanide being almost caught out by Z-Tai there, coming around to take away that white. So all the pressure back on fnatic. That was the play they wanted. That was the teleport coming out from Pekka. It did not work. And Z-Tai, well, he's going to be sat on a mountain of gold now. He hasn't even got boots. You can see 2,200 gold on Z-Tai. He's going to be heading towards that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, it's bad news. It's what we can surmise from this one. Z-Tai actually, he does get away. Auto attack going to follow him back off to base. Blue Wolf's coming up once again. We can have a look at some of the items. And one thing that I specifically want to talk about here from IG is those paint wards. They are looking for absolute master control when it comes to vision here. They're going to completely clear out what fnatic can actually throw them. Only 1 sweeping lens, which is interesting if you consider the fact they've got 4 pink wards in there to try and keep that control up. But fnatic can't afford another fight like that. It started off looking quite well for them. Credit to Illusion, he actually held on to his ultimate for so long that it could have a bigger impact there towards the end of the fight. And here we see IG up in the enemy jungle. That's a hook coming in onto the walls. Cyanide is caught out, everything in there, and Kitty's picking up the kill. Cyanide was doing his wolves, but not in peace. IG come in there and get the kill.
And immediately you see the bottom lane, Reckless and Yellowstar need to get the hell out of dodge. They're going to teleport straight back out there. And this is great play from IG. What, 30 seconds to Dragon. Jungler been taken down. All those pink wards being placed on there, completely nullifying any vision fnatic had. They have no view whatsoever. They have 1 single ward. They have it in the river and the tri-bush. but they dare not get down any closer. Soaz is basically blind in this top lane. He's just praying and hoping that they are sticking down the bottom. They know they're going to go towards that bottom turret. Soaz may get this turret down in time. PDD is going to come up, but you can see he's going to keep on poking, and this is what Soaz has to do. He has to just basically play the passive game, play the farming game. But we do see, of course, 4 members of IG taking away that third turret.
You can't do anything against this push. I mean, with Wukong in there, you can't sit in a 2v3 or maybe even a 3v3 underneath that tower, because as soon as a Cyclone comes in, Z-Tai picks his target out perfectly, can take one of those men out so quickly. Peke's trying to push stuff out here in the mid lane, but the Dragon spawning in with that vision control that IG have got from those pinks, they're going to get themselves basically a free Dragon from that, and I don't think Fnatic really want to be around this one. We can see they start to back away. IG are actually chasing in from this one. They're looking for a blue up as the pink wards do go down just outside.
Fnatic look like they're thinking of trying to fight this one. They wanted to just get the steal, but it didn't work out for them. So that means it is Illusion and Kid with the 2 blue buffs and 2 red buffs as well. So everything being picked up by IG in the first opening 15 minutes of this first game at the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. Pressure on Fnatic already, and we expected this. We knew IG were going to come into this game aggressive. I believe Fnatic would have been prepared for that. I know for a fact they were preparing, what, last Monday we were talking to them saying how much they're preparing for this tournament and making sure they focused on IG, and they've got a lot of research for it, but like we said at the start, they didn't really know what they were going to go with 4.3. Were they expecting the Yasuo? Did they think that the counter was going to be the Caston? And it was the last pick, so it had to be what they thought was strong. But with the changes, I'm not sure. Froggen wasn't even convinced. And, you know, these are big top-level mid laners. Peke clearly is. But you've got to question Peke's form in the LCS the last few weeks has been a little bit iffy. We'll see how it works out, because this is a big gamble for Fnatic.
Yeah, and the thing is that he's got so far behind in the early game from this choice that he's gone in there for that I'm not sure if he's going to be able to build up and get back. The fact is that Kassadin, he likes to get rolling by picking off one man here and there, setting up those traps, using his ultimate to really break the normal positioning rules, I guess we can say. But the fact is, IG have been together in a group, pushing turrets down. We saw when they went into the jungle, they killed Cyanide on his own wolves. They were 4 men as they pushed in there for that one. Right now, they're as a group of 3. We see PDD on the top side. Fnatic kind of split between the two, but they don't own their jungle anymore. That jungle belongs to IG.
Yeah, Reckless was a little bit caught out there, and if IG had pushed, he may well have been completely out of position. Instead, they're continuing to take anything they like. Like you said, it's just not Fnatic's jungle. IG have complete control, and they really are going to have to try and shut down Z-Tai. You just saw the stun coming out there. The fireball from Yellowstar did not land, quickly blocked it off, and that's maybe going to be a problem. Luckily for him, there isn't a great deal of projectile. Of course, the Glilance being the big one for Soaz, if he can get built up, if he can get that Lich Bane out there. He's got the Morellonomicon in there. Lich Bane may well be the second item he wants.
As Yellowstar trying his best to regain some control here for Fnatic. See, they've pushed up a little bit further on the map to allow Yellowstar that freedom to move around in his own jungle. We can see the BF sword is now added in there for Z-Tai, who's sat at a pretty scary 2-0-3. He's got 50 CS more right now on the board than that of Xpeke. And again, IG staying in this 3-man group, the AD carry support with Illusion in there as well. A scary 3 players to even think about going up against. And if we look at the level difference there between the 2 mid laners, yes, Peke's just hit level 11, but Z-Tai already miles ahead at level 12 as well. And Fnatic, while they're going to be able to stop him pushing out there, it might not be getting any easier for them, because Z-Tai has just added that Infinity Edge into his static chip.
Yeah, he's now got his full build effectively for Yasuo. Has still only just picked up the level 1 boots. That's all he needs, honestly. If he can manage to dive in there, of course, he's got Illusion on Wukong to do the knockups. PDD technically can knock up when he pulls out that ultimate. You can get the Flay knockup. Everything is suited for IG in this team comp for that Yasuo. They really have to try and shut him down early. And you can see they're trying to make some plays here. They're trying to regain their jungle. They're trying to fight for that red buff, but again, they don't get it. PDD manages to take it away from them.
Yeah, and the Hawk coming out, I mean, not the biggest of damage threats there with Thresh and Shyvana there, but the rest of IG were just behind them coming up, just in case that would work out for them. If we take a look at the minimap here, we can see that Fnatic have now finally got a bit of control back in their own jungle. 3 wards down the bottom, 3 on the top side of their jungle as well. So that's obviously been a priority here for Fnatic, but IG, to be honest, they're still running pretty rampant in the Fnatic jungle, because even though Fnatic have got some vision back, they can't really go in there and stop IG taking away everything.
Yeah, but you could argue that all those pink wards that IG invested in really weren't made that much use of. Fnatic played it safe, and that's exactly what they needed to do. They sat back, relaxed, and they're just getting themselves a little bit of farm. Yellow Star and Cyanide pushing in here. They find themselves kiddies. They do get in, they get the stun, but they can't follow through on it. Now they're intolerable. They're going to have to back away from this one. You can see Z-Tai making his way up the river, and everybody from Fnatic does successfully back away.
Looking for a pick. That's what they need to get back into this game. They have to catch people out. Z-Tai actually just walking straight up the mid lane, pretty much alone on this one, but we can see the damage that comes out for him. Makes absolute mincemeat of those minions. There's a knock-up onto Yellow Star. Doesn't follow through, though.
No, that's just how confident Z-Tai is, though. That actually may backfire on them, though. If they get a little too overconfident, a little too cocky, you can be sure that Fnatic will pounce on it. They have the abilities, and remember, we're only waiting for Peke on Cassidy to just get going. That's all he needs, just a little glimpse of something to try and maybe pick up some kills. He has got the abilities starting to build. What's that? Looks like it's Rabadon's Death Cap. He's going, sorry, the Zhonya's Hourglass building in there. You can see they're starting to put poke in Z-Tai. They're going into it. They do get Z-Tai down. Can they finish it off, though? BDD gets popped out with the Wild Growth. Cyanide caught out. He gets himself back away there. They do manage to get thrown down. IG chasing on towards Soaz, using that shield. Has he got enough? Does manage to pixie on towards BDD. Now we see Reckless. He gets down Illusion. They're chasing on towards IG here. Peke can chase. He's got full mana built up, and he's going to try and catch on. Rift walks across. BDD trying to get away from this one. IG going to make a rotate round here. Peke can close the door, but it's against 3 members of Invictus Gaming. They have to be so cautious on this one.
They're going to try and recall here from the Tribush, and actually I think they might get away with this one. Kid has left it quite late to hit that button, and he's going to be the last one to get out of there. He's going to be stopped as well. He's not going to be able to get away from this. He tries to get onto Reckless. There is the shutdown that Fnatic were looking for. That right there was perfect for Fnatic to start their comeback in this game. The Dragon is now up for them. No one from IG left on the map, even close to being able to challenge for this one, and that brings them right back into it, at least in gold for now. The question is, can they pull another team fight? They need at least one more that goes that well for them.
We talked about the overconfidence that Z-Tai maybe was building in there, and he was picked off instantly. Soaz now running for his life here. Z-Tai really wanted to get across there, trying to catch something on towards him. Shield coming out from Cyanide. They're going to keep him safe, and this is dangerous play from IG because they just gave a kill and 2 assists across to Peke. That's all he really needs, and you can see immediately Zhonya's Hourglass almost completed now. He's got the major components of it, and once he gets dived on, he's just going to pop that Zhonya's and turn straight back around. You saw how they collapsed onto Kid there. Kid, a shutdown on him was exactly what they needed, because we all know how dangerous a Vayne can be. They've got a lot of dangerous components, IG, a lot of damage, but there's a lot of crowd control from Fnatic to try and lock him up. Yellow Star caught out. It's going to go down. That's not what they needed, that's for sure.
Now that's pretty much the exact opposite of what Fnatic have just really built themselves up in that one. Yeah, he's out there trying to clear wards, trying to get some vision back for Fnatic. They're actually going to make a bit of a play towards this mid-tower. PDD going to be stopped there by Kassadin, coming across quickly and maybe starting some things off. So they've killed out Yellow Star. They've wrestled control back now of this mid lane. We'll see what IG are going to go for next. I think PDD's quite happy to get back to that top lane. He's approaching 200 CS, already got his Sunfire Cape in there, going to be moving up on towards that Spirit Visage. Next, as you mentioned earlier, we did have the Morellonomicon coming out for Soaz, and he's got an extra blasting one in that. But again, IG staying is this 4-man team, trying to, well, stay together, because that's the safety in numbers from this one, especially when you've got Z-Tai in there and all those knockups for him to really feed off.
Trying to do a little bit of Baron bait there. Cyclone's still not available for IG, so they're really playing with fire, because Fnatic are fairly tactically astute. They will manage to read the situation, but they are playing it defensively. They do manage to catch on the Baron. That's going to force an attack on PDD, who has to take the Lantern. He's thrown out there. You've got to go for it. They're trying to collapse on. Yellow Star almost caught out again, and it's the little bit of Baron fight that IG really want to try and start off here. Fnatic not really falling for it. They have to get a ward, because they've got no vision of that pit right now, and that's what Yellow Star's trying to do. And they're just going to jump straight on. Yellow Star taken down. Cyanide in trouble. The Culling doing good damage, but they've already lost 2 members, and now Peke's going to get closed in on. Does manage to get the Force Force down there. Soaz is going to back away, but that is 2 members down. The jungler and support. IG going Baron.
And that was, for me, very interesting. I mean, I'm not sure why they went for that. They saw the ward being put down in this brush. They didn't have the vision inside Baron pit itself. That was a risky move in itself to go behind there. IG going to start off the Baron. Let's see if they can finish it off. Kid's going to be the focus of Peke there, but the Baron already low. They've hooked in Soaz as well. Baron at least 1 kill more coming down for IG, and now Reckless inside of that mid lane. He's going to have to run for his life. Peke will be safe, but IG decide not to chase, but they might be able to take a couple of towers here. Actually, they are moving down towards this bottom lane, which is already pushed up as well.
IG simply outplaying Fnatic there. They knew exactly what they're doing. They knew the setup for that kill. That death sentence landed, and everybody from IG, the steam train, just coming straight across that Baron wall and destroying Yellow Star and Cyanide. And they're just the two people you needed. Of course, that big Tibbers, you could get that flash Tibbers in there. That would interrupt IG so much. But without that, they're going to be playing defensive again for 4 minutes while that Baron buff wears off, and it's a case of what will IG take, because at the moment they can take what they please.
Yeah, literally anything that they want is theirs. We can see that PDD now, with that extra cash injection, has got himself that Spirit Visage. Also moving up to, I'm guessing, that Blade of the Rune King in here next. Soaz on the other side is slowly but surely getting up towards that Rabadon Seth cap. Z-Tai now, he's 4-1-5, finally getting himself a little bit more protection, actually, after that Infinity Edge and Static Shift combo. Basically, the two items for Yasuo at this stage of things. They're managing to control that blue buff heal once again, so that's not going to be in the hands of Peke, although he will have his Zhonya's Hourglass finish, and something that they're going to need, because he has to dive into the rest of into the enemy team to really do the damage, as we heard earlier from Frog, and that ultimate needs to be used not just as mobility but as a damage source, which means that Zhonya's is going to help them out a hell of a lot going forward.
Yeah, the problem with Fnatic, I mean, they went for the champions that just need to get that farm going. The Kassadin has to get a lot of farm going on there to start going on. It takes him a while. Oh, Cyclone catching out Yellow Star once again, and he is destroyed where he stands. Teleport cancelled by Peke. Did not want any of that, and that is exactly all IG needed. Simple pick, and now they're going to go straight towards the tower. They sniffed out Peke coming in. Mid lane is all open for IG.
Yep, just waiting for those minions actually to come in, and while there is the big minion, I think PDD can just walk straight through here, tank that one up. Fnatic are on the steps of their base. They know that they can't really fight from this one. There's a great wall coming out from Z-Tai, and that will stop them actually putting any pressure down and having any kind of impact on how they can defend that turret. There's another Lantern which will send them off, clear out the jungle. PDD's already done the work up top to get this lane pushing back off towards the tower, and another inner tower should fall here. I'm not sure that Fnatic will want to fight for it. There's no Tibbers up right now for Yellow Star. That's a big part of their combo right now. If they don't have Tibbers, I don't see how they can win a fight.
They're just trying their best to delay out this Baron up team. Z-Tai is looking to make a move. Oh, PDD might try and sneak around the backside. Yellow Star sees him, has that ward in place, but he could just pop that Dragon Descent and dive on that tower and tank it up for a large portion. And really, he's quite happy to be the focus of damage. He's the tankiest member in Fnatic. They've just got to give up on this again. Another wind wall goes down. Easy, easy turret for IG.
Not a problem for them. Only one left standing outside of the base at this point, and that's in that bottom lane, and that's not quite pushed up just yet, but PDD once again will go down there, start the work off, and the rest of the team will come around to help finish that one off again. I don't really see what Fnatic can do to even stop that from happening. I mean, even the culling to get rid of the minions to force him to tank up the turret is completely blocked by that wind wall that Z-Tai can throw down.
And this really sends a message to a lot of other teams. IG are dominating form here, and WE are technically a better team than IG. So that's a real worry for Cloud9, who are going to be facing them later on in the day. Of course, all the games in the group stage will be played today. A lot of matches coming out today, and so far Fnatic, they are not looking the strongest in their first game. Of course, they will be playing the loser of the second matches, which is KT Bullets versus Millennium. That's coming up straight after this one. And IG, of course, will be playing the winner of that game. All of those games coming today. Big, big tournament. And Fnatic, they are not looking good in their first game.
Now, and starting off in a normal group stage, for example, the group stage we saw last year, that we can't forget how Gambit got through the group stage on a time difference and went on to be world champions. It's not the same this year around. We've got that double elimination group stage style that is actually quite unforgiving. You lose 2 games, you're definitely out. You lose your first game and you know that then you have to play the loser of the second game. and heads can be down after that one loss, and especially when this is a fairly clear-cut win as well, for now at least, for IG. I'm not going to say that they definitely win out in this game, but it's looking very, very good for them. 10,000 gold ahead. We're about to hit the 30-minute mark in this one. No turrets left standing outside of Fnatic's base.
And does this send a message to the rest of the teams? Do not pick Kassadin, because it doesn't seem as strong as he used to be, or is it simply a case of Peke did not play it right in the matchup against Zitai? Because you can see Zitai now 100 CS advantage and honestly dominated the lane phase. And this is something we know the Chinese teams can do. Fnatic certainly know it. They had that exact same problems against Royal Club in the World Championships, and back then Cyanide was able to carry them through it, try and keep them in there, despite the fact they ended up losing. But Cyanide himself, he's been struggling. He's been trying to counter anything he can do, but just look at him. He is pure tank right now, and that's just not working because IG are just blitzing the likes of Yellowstar, the likes of Soaz. Once they get caught out, they are going down in seconds because they simply don't have the hit points to deal with the massive damage that can come out from Kid and Zitai.
Yeah, and he can't really dive straight into the back there either. We've seen that when he dives into the team, you've got pretty much Cyclone running in there, so you go in, you get knocked up instantly, and we've seen, I mean, he is still pretty squishy. Got that Randuin zone in there now finally, so he is a little bit more tanky against that damage that's coming out from Vayne, from the mid laner as well there with Yasuo. So we'll have to see how this one all progresses. Baron buff has now run out. You can see there the timer in the top left. That's coming back into play in 40 seconds. Wards all in favor of IG. Fnatic have nothing really outside of their base. One a little bit up in mid lane, one just over the top of the wall, but wards that you throw out from safe places basically is all that Fnatic have on this map. That gold lead only increasing. It's 6-2 in turrets here. There's a couple of pings down in mid lane there from Soaz. I think he was looking to have a bit of a go at Kitties, but probably not even going to be enough to kill him there. IG have been so fast at rotating into these fights. Kitties gets away before Soaz and Reckless can get there.
Yeah, nobody could get close, and still only just those two turrets, still yet to take this mid outer turret down. They may well get near it this time. Reckless is getting in there. He has got himself, of course, that Phantom Dancer along with the Last Whisper added to that Bloodthirst report very early on, but the moment Zitai comes in there, Wave gets completely cleared out, and Fnatic have to back off.
PDD's even cheeky enough to come in behind the position of Fnatic there, take himself the Wraith camp and back straight off. The pink wards that Fnatic have been trying to get in there once again, gonna be cleared out. We see the sweeping lenses being pushed in there as well. There's another pink ward, Kitty's putting that one in, and that's complete Baron control that they have once again, and they're gonna kick off Baron. Fnatic will have a hunch that this one's going off. They've known that their wards have gone down, but how are they gonna try and fight this one? Cyanide's gonna have to steal.
They're gonna have to 5-man. They need to get that flash. Tibbers in there. There's the Cullen. It's catching on towards them. Yellowstar Hawks. Oh, he's in trouble. He has to use his Tibbers. He catches 3 members, but is it enough? We do see that it's going to be 1 kill. I'm not too sure they can get any more though, because Vayne comes in. They've taken down Zitai. That's a big one. Reckless gets himself that double. They get the stun on Kid, but he quickly gets cleansed off there. And PDD, the monster that he is, goes diving in there. Peke caught out by their Cyclone, but they can chase on this one. Illusion getting taken low. The Baron was picked up by IG, but the damage is being done by Fnatic. But Illusion takes down Peke. It was a 4 for 3 in the end, and the Baron went to IG. But Fnatic, they're not out yet.
4 for 3. I think it was actually the decoy there that killed him by the end. Incredible stuff. Fnatic gonna try and get something back from this one. Yes, they've lost the Baron, but they're gonna try and have some turrets. Need to be careful here because PDD has that Blade of the Ruin King in there, so he can do damage. Reckless has to back away from things along with Soaz. Reckless actually getting himself the double buff in and amongst that one. So again, a look back and we see a 10,000 gold lead is what we have still for IG in this one, but Fnatic have just shown that they can fight these ones. Yellowstar, he got hooked in there pretty early, got his Tibbers off though onto 3 men, and we've seen, I think, a couple of fights that Fnatic have done well in. Zitai has been focused down very, very quickly, and his damage has gone before they can really have an impact.
Yeah, and IG, more importantly, have been focusing Yellowstar, which has bought the time for Reckless to just get the kills. You can see 6-1-2. He is a big, shining beacon of hope for Fnatic right now. He has the build, he has the damage. Can he get his free hits? Because in that fight, he was all on his own, managing to do that damage. And Kid and Zitai, once they go down, you already saw it there. IG are kind of floundering. And if they can get focus, which is why you see the Banshee's Veil was picked up by Zitai as his 3rd item, Now he's starting to build armor because he suddenly realized Reckless is a big threat in the fights.
They have to kill him, and this, if there's any time to shine for Reckless, this would be it. He's been solid even through the bad times for Fnatic in the European LCS, but this is a game, if any ever for him to step up, this would be it. 6-1-2 currently, 310 CS with Bloodthirst, the Last Whisper, and the Blade of the Ruin King Phantom Dancer combo there on Lucian. And we'll see how this one all works out for him. IG, again, they've managed to get themselves into the Fnatic jungle, get the vision down. We see Z-Tai and Illusion getting themselves a free dragon from that one. They've got that Baron buff on at least a couple of the members still, of course. And that's at least keeping Fnatic at bay for now. They know that they still can't really fight unless it's on their terms.
Yeah, they are having a problem at sieging these final turrets, so they're yet to push in, yet to put any damage at all on these inhibitor turrets. And Fnatic, they have the wave clear now. They have the potential to keep them back. And let's not forget, the longer we go, the longer stronger Kassadin's going to get. He's trying to sit on that gold. He's got just shy of 2,000 gold now. Needs to continue counting it up. Also, Soaz, he's got that Rabadon's death cap. He's trying to get that Lichbane on there. And then there's going to be serious problems for IG.
This is almost the perfect scenario, I think, for Fnatic, because those inner turrets offer a lot less protection on what the steps into the base are going to have them right now. Cyanide can jump in there and have the wild growth knock everyone off. There's a good bit of damage on towards PDT. And when I say good bit of damage, I say that, yeah, not really a lot landing in onto him in the end. He is so ridiculously tanky at this point. Got himself a bit of damage in there as well with that Blade of the Ruin King. Kitty's just trying to hook Yellow Star down as they battle out for the wards, but IG certainly got positional control, but I'm wondering how they're going to be able to break through the barrier of the steps onto the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, they only have the Vayne with the range damage. He is pretty short. Z-Tai, of course, can clear the way very quickly, but he's going to have to literally stand on that turret if he wants to do damage to it. And Fnatic are ready and waiting. And IG are seemingly a little bit unaware of what to do right now. They are continuing to farm. They're continuing to keep that gold in their favor, and that's all well and good, but the numbers are getting bigger. People are starting to build, what, 3, 4, 5 items now. And that's going to be a problem. I'm just not too sure how this is going to work out for IG. Nocturne's going to be used. They're diving on the mid lane.
They're going on towards Kitty's here, but will they be able to finish him off? There's Tibbers put down. They just want a single kill. It's a good pick here for Fnatic. Peke actually going to get that one in the end. That's a good thing for them. He's now got that Death Cap and Void Staff in there along with his Rod of Ages. We thought it was going to go Zhonya's. Actually just took the Seeker's Arm Guard armor and a little bit of AP from that one. Decided, you know what? No, I'm not going to go that safe way. Let's go full out damage and see what we can do in this one. It's pretty tanky from that Rod of Ages as well. We also see the Void Staff now added in for Soaz as well. Fnatic headed down towards Dragon, which is not there at this point though.
Yeah, we're seeing the lack of vision that Fnatic have. They've been basically holed up in their base for so long. They've really got no wards out there. They're finally starting to get some coverage down there. We saw Reckless. He went up to counter, make sure PDD didn't get any damage on towards that turret. And they are making moves. This is a good turnaround for Fnatic. They've now got themselves 4 turrets and they are starting to be the aggressor. They're starting to put pressure on that tower. But you saw how long it took to just kill Kitties. Kitties, the support member, had everything used there. PDD is getting damage now, has to use that ultimate, gets stunned up there, and we also see Illusion coming around. IG are starting to question whether they've got the ability to win the fights.
I think so as well. As long as they're not in this full team, we can see that they don't want to fight, but Fnatic don't either. They want to be picking people off, backing away from things. Didn't quite get in there. Ultimate, as you said, was used by PDD just to drag him back to safety of that tower. Illusion also not taking too much damage because he has that Banshee's Veil, as does Z-Tai now as well. Well, Fnatic, they're quite happy with that one. They'll push things out, go back into base, spend up what they've got, and try and get in position once again to catch IG out. And if we look at the minimap, there's actually no wards. It's a stark contrast to maybe 10 minutes ago in this game where IG had full vision control of the Fnatic jungle. We've got 1 minute to come up until the Baron comes up, which tells me that IG are going to have to start pushing forward. Fnatic have already begun that warding phase. This Yellow Star here going to get caught out once again. They're going on towards Reckless. Here comes the ultimate out of Cyanide. Illusion's going to go down. Cyanide going to get caught in it. Are they going to want to fight this one? They're looking for the pickup. Kid up towards the side. He's not going to be the focus, but he needs to be the focus because Fnatic have been ripped to pieces. Cyanide is going to go down. Peke falls. Yellow Star goes down as well. And now only Soaz running away from that one. Reckless is on the bottom side of middle. He's going to run through his own jungle. That's a 3-for-1 in favor of IG. with Baron coming up in 15 seconds, they can get the inhib and they can go back for the Baron.
You've got to give credit to Z-Tai. That wind wall was amazing. Completely blocked the attack. And they should have backed out. The moment they got illusion, just back the hell out. Instead, they gift themselves an inhibitor turret, which IG have been struggling so hard to get. And that inhibitor will fall down. They may well be able to push through here. There is a 18 seconds still spawn time, so I think IG probably will back away from this one. Kitty's almost catching on Reckless there, but that culling was completely nullified by the wind wall. And IG, you said it yourself. They had to be looking at Kid. They couldn't get the focus on him. They're going to run straight for Baron.
They are going straight in there for Baron. Couple of walls down from fnatic, so they've got vision of this one. Cyanide has no ultimate, so he's got no quick dive over that wall and straight into the Baron pit. Soaz is off to the side, dodges pretty much everything. The culling comes through, but IG pick up the Baron. That will be a bit more safety for them and a bit more gold. They're headed up towards 6 items at this point.
Yeah, this is dangerous times for Fnatic once again. They survived the fight this time, but that inhibitor, the fact that that is down, super minions coming up that mid lane, they're going to be hauled up in their base again for another 4 minutes while that Baron is up. Dragon's up in 20 seconds. They need to try and get that, maybe get themselves some gold back in there, but they need a better fight. The focus was lacking, and honestly, I thought the game was over. I thought that game was over the moment they started to flounder at the Baron buff. They got themselves a pick, but they got greedy. They tried to take too much, and IG is so fast to react. And this is something we've seen from the Eastern teams, like the Chinese, the Korean teams, how quick they can counter those ganks. And they were there, ready and waiting. And once they basically used everything on illusion, Z-Tai and Kid were just free-flowing, running through the team. And at this stage, a level 18 Vayne, this fed, is a problem.
Yeah, and it's bad news when Reckless is the 7-1-2 gotta carry kind of person, and you've got that wind wall there, which is going to completely take him out of the fight. Everyone can just sit back and basically allow Reckless to do nothing while you get ready to dive back on him. At this point, IG are actually making a play on this bottom lane again. PDD leading that charge, pushing that wave right up on towards the turret. Let's see if IG can take this one.
He's so tanky, and he's just going to walk in and tank it. Fnatic so slow to react to this one. The inhibitor turret is going to go down. They have to sort of gift this one across. They're keeping him at bay. They're making sure PDD does tank every little bit of damage. But again, they have a lot of damage. Timber's being used. Dragon Descent was used, though. He gets away, and straight away they can just turn this back around, get the last hit on there. It's Kid that finishes off the turret. Now they're going to turn aggressive. Cyclone catching on towards Sires. You see Reckless going down. That is over. Fnatic are going to lose this game. IG picking up the win. They've taken down the AD carry. The only thing stopping, the moment Peke gets knocked in the air, he gets pounced on by Invictus Gaming. A fantastic performance by the Chinese team that came into this tournament. We were doubting whether they had the ability to take down Fnatic, but they have proven they are way stronger than we thought, and it's a great victory in game 1.
20,000 gold lead here by the end. A good fight there, and they got in on towards Reckless, the man who was really the only hope to carry Fnatic back into this game. 7-2-2 by the end of it, and it is a win for IG, the Chinese team who, as you mentioned, we weren't quite sure how much experience are they going to have with 4.3. How much is that even going to matter, in fact, coming into this one? And we've seen that they are so very strong. It started off pretty much as it went on there. That mid lane, Z-Tai on Yasuo, up against Peke's Kassadin, absolutely wiped the floor with him in the early game. 5-2-10, we saw Z-Tai finishing that one with 442 CS. Heads and shoulders above everyone else when it comes to the farm, and he just had pretty much free reign. In fact, the only times that he went down were the times that Fnatic did well in the fights. But in the end, if you lose your AD carry, who's the only one really in a capable position of carrying you through that, you're never going to win the game.
And in terms of gold, you just need to look towards the mid lane. There's nearly 20,000 gold for Z-Tai, whereas Peke didn't even hit 14,000. That's a huge difference. Top laners as well was another 5,000 gap between PDD and Soaz. Great performance from IG in their first game. Of course, that means that Fnatic will be playing the loser of Millennium versus KT Rolls to B, and of course, IG will be playing the winner. So fantastic performance in game 1.
Yeah, and PDD, we talked about him. He's going to be a shining star, or has to be a shining light, really, for this IG team. 4-0-6 in the end. He had almost 350 armor by the end of it. We saw how he just didn't care that those turrets were hitting him. fnatic threw literally everything that they had at trying to blow up that tank of IG. In the end, he just backed away. IG walked straight back in there. They got themselves on towards Reckless and were able to finish off that game. And that leaves them just one game away now from moving on into the playoff rounds. Guys, that was a fantastic opening here to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship. We're going to head over to the analysis desk, though, where the guys are going to break down that awesome match.
Thank you very much, Joe. And what an incredible start to the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship here. That game had everything. fnatic had the makings of a comeback. The makings, but they just gave up too much too early. Before we talk about some of the gameplay decisions, let's chat a little bit about those picks and bans. Yasuo first pick, blind. Completely surprising me at the very least on the side of IG. We've seen Cassidy being locked in, and we talked about how IG could maybe bait fnatic in. Crepo, what was your thoughts on picks and bans?
Obviously, Cassidy was left open with a plan. Then again, he still got very much last pick, so fnatic was confident they could win with it. I think their plan relied a lot on having the 2v2 on bottom and then just let Caspian teleport down and just make picks and then put pressure around the map. However, the mid lane matchup is not really advantageous for Cassian, as we saw.
Yeah, I completely agree. Basically, after Cassidy nerfs, there's no way for even to lane against Yasuo. And you saw it with the first blood.
Yeah, it worked in his favor. Before we get to the replay, let's talk a little bit about those lane swaps that actually maybe set themselves up. fnatic, they started that lane swap off. Crepo, is that a good thing for them to do or a not so good thing?
Well, IG started it off, actually.
IG.
Yeah. There's a lot of aspects to a lane swap. Why it's good, why it's bad. I just want to cover a lot of them. First of all, it puts the Shyvana went bottom, really tanky. The Lulu top doesn't really deal with the lane swap too well, and especially on top of that, so as he glitter lands the first wave twice, or once or twice at least, which made him push. Which basically IG said, well, okay, let's farm up for a couple of levels, get level 3 or 4, and then we'll poke you, and then we'll dive you. And as you saw, Soas was completely out of the game. Same time on bottom, the jungler showed up on bottom and just helped them prevent fnatic from pushing in the tower. And at the same time, the Vayne Thresh matchup, which is really bad against Lucian, just didn't happen. And then this all played into IG's favor.
Yeah, and for the mid lane, whenever you lane swap like that, you know the jungler is not going to be around. You already have a disadvantaged lane matchup with Kassadin, and he actually started Flask on top of that. So he can't walk up to Yasuo because he will get hit, Yasuo will E onto him, and Yasuo will keep hitting him. So if he actually walks up, he will keep getting hit.
Well, we've got a replay of one of those first trades. Let's pull that replay up onto your screen. Takes place at about 3 minutes, 37 seconds on the clock. And Peke basically just got shut down. So Froggen, the replay's on your screen. Talk me through what happens.
Okay, so what happens is Pekka's walking up to hit a CS, and he got crit by Yasuo's Q. So Yasuo wants to dive him at this point, and despite Yasuo missing his Q, he actually crits Pekka twice and gets the first blood.
Yeah.
And one thing is like, Sisai, he could either have went for actually go back, all the minions were dead, he couldn't contest them if Pekka just has stood back and farm under his turret, but he went for the dive. What he could have done was also just go back to the Wolves and Raves, get a nice CS lead, get the static shift really, really fast, but the dive, like Chinese teams, they want to go for the dives every single time as possible.
It worked in their favor, he got the kill.
In Pekka's favor, he got crit twice.
RNG.
Well, yeah, pray to RNGs, but that can happen when you play the Yasuo Cassidy matchup. And the thing is, Zitai would never go this aggressive. Oh, well, he might, he's Chinese, but he probably wouldn't go as aggressive if he didn't know where the junglers was going to be. And as Froggen pointed out already, they're going to be either mid or top defending those 2v1s. So from a conceptual point of view, I really like what IG accomplished with that lane swap, and I almost feel like fnatic dropped the ball not predicting that lane swap.
So let's talk a little bit. We do have another replay to set up, so if you can fast forward over there, Crepo. The rest of the game played out a little bit more maybe in fnatic's favor as far as objectives were concerned. They got the first tower on the bottom lane, they got the first dragon, and they had the makings of a very good team fight, which we're just busy getting set up. What did fnatic need to do other than giving up those kills early? I mean, was it a strong start to the game with all those objectives, Froggen?
I think actually starting from champion selection, I think the Kassadin pick was really bad because basically what IG has, Shyvana, she likes to split push, she likes to farm up, get really, really strong. Wayne likes to get really, really strong, likes to split push as well. And then you have Yasuo, he likes to split push as well. Despite of that, they have like a lot of knockups on IG's team, so they don't have to. But it's like 3 split push champions, so if they had won something more pokey, maybe even take the Lulu mids. and then pick Karma top or something for Soaz. They would be able to hold them off, and despite IG having a lot of damage, I think they would have too many defensive stats to actually get through. So Fnatic would win every single team fight, and IG would be forced into split pushing.
Well, I can only echo that. I really just want to point out the fact that I really think Fnatic banked on Kassadin teleporting down the bottom, winning that matchup even more, getting red kills really fed, and then just let Soaz do his thing in the top lane with top lane Lulu, which cleans waves so well against the Shyvana. It would basically be a tie farming contest there, and then they hope to have the pressure on the map. As we know, Wukong is not really that good of a jungler early, his 1-6 ganks, so that would all play in Fnatic's favor, but the lane swap just messed it all up.
The amount of knockups that IG had in their favor was particularly good. We got a second replay that we do want to show you guys. Let's pull that replay up onto your screen. This was a little later in the game, sitting closer to the 12-minute mark. Now, this was a team fight in this bottom lane. It is on your screen. Talk me through it, Crepo.
Basically, this is indicative of like what would happen if this game would have played out the way Fnatic wanted it. Bot lane's a little bit ahead, even after the lane swap. Kassadin comes down with a teleport, and they close the gap on the enemies so much quicker. If we run this replay right now, we're going to see that Kassadin teleports down, and they just jump in, double man Tibbers, immediately like Cleanse or Mikhail's coming out Thresh, but Thresh, he blows up. They still chase the Vayne if we follow them around, because we have to manually control this, and this is very new for me. We follow them around, and they keep going, but they get a little bit too deep, and this is where Pekka jumps in, and now this is where IG's like strength comes in. Pragan?
Yeah. So right now, as we are going to see is, Zitai, he finished his static shift really early because of the first blood he got onto Xpeka. So what's going on here is, Illusion is gonna jump in, knock up Lucian, and Zitai is gonna jump on top of him. And he's basically gonna clean up everything from the rest of this fight. Pekka, he zoom, he doesn't really have much to do. He almost gets a kill onto Kid. But Zitai, he's just cleaning up everything in this fight. And that's where the Chinese aggression comes in. It's like, they basically just want Yasuo to get into all of them and basically just clean up everything because he's that strong with his static shift.
And they make the switch so easily. We see it in later fights as well. Baron dancing around. It's where PDD on Shyvana, he still hides in a brush and he just waits for his moment. They have patience because they could have turned this earlier and failed, but they just waited until the last moment. Wukong goes in, gets the knock up, and it's very indicative of how well synergized IG is playing. They wait for the right moment, then they unleash their wombo combo, and that's how they win games.
Well, you have to give credit to Fnatic. They did stall the game out. By the 12-minute mark, we were looking at it and thinking, how on earth can Fnatic pull themselves back? They did drag the game out to around about the 35-40-minute mark. They had a couple of good picks. They were able to find some kills, but you know, that early game really struggled for them. Now, Fnatic, they are going to drop down to the lower bracket in this double elim. IG are going to be facing the winner of KTB versus Millennium. What can the other teams in the group take away from this? Watching both of these teams, what do we think IG did very well? What do we think Fnatic maybe struggled with?
I think what you can take away from IG's champion selection is they bank everything on actually getting ahead. If they got behind with this comp, absolutely no wave clear. Only the wind wall to maybe protect the towers. Besides that, there's no wave clear at all. So bank everything on actually getting ahead.
Oh, it worked out for them. Final thoughts, Crepo?
Ties into the point I was going to make, confidence. This is different than your average like LCS match. You're in front of a giant like studio audience here, like there's thousands of people watching you, crowd momentum, which means if you play with confidence and you just follow those calls, whether they're good or bad, but you just go all in, and once they start working out, you get so much momentum and the crowd will get behind you that it matters a lot here. So playing without hesitation is probably your biggest feature to winning a match here.
Yeah, and IG definitely played without hesitation. They picked so many fights instantly. I believe we do have PDD sitting on stage ready for an interview. Congratulations to IG once again. Shox, let's see what he has to say.
Thank you very much, guys. Indeed, I'm joined here by PDD, top laner for Invictus Gaming. Congratulations. Fantastic victory versus Fnatic. Tell me a little bit about your preparation. How strong did you think Fnatic was before you came into this game?
就请问一下，就是你对上这个队的时候，你觉得他们哪个人最强？
我觉得他们上单最强，因为之前有交手过。
He think the top line will be more stronger because the before he played with it.
Hey, so you're talking about Soaz. Tell me about the picks and bans and what did your strategy was? What champions did you really want to get, and did you absolutely not want them to play?
请问一下，在办人的时候，你们最想拿的英雄是谁？最不想让对方拿的英雄是谁？
我们最想拿到的是蜘蛛，然后最不想让对方拿到的是剑魔。
They really want the champion is Spider Queen.
Spider Queen,
Spider Queen, yes. And they don't want them to get Alex. It's a top line heroes.
Okay. So you got into the game, you guys went for a lane swap. It went so well that early game. Tell me a little bit from your perspective how that was in a 2 versus 1.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah. How was the early game for him personally?
请问一下，你们前期的时候节奏是怎么带的？
因为我们换线了，我们换了上下路换线，然后换得很成功，所以说前面的节奏跟经济一直是在我们的掌控中。并且我们的中单单杀了对面的中单。
The very early games, they switched the line. It's the top line changed to the bot line, and the medium line it's solo to kill the enemy's medium line champions.
Yeah. Okay.
And everything it's control in the IG's team.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of control. Fantastic performance for you guys. Of course, the next game will be for you guys up against or the KT Rolster Bullets or Millennium. Who do you think will win? Who do you think will be your next opponent here?
请问一下，下一场是韩国队对上欧洲队，然后请问一下，你觉得他们谁会胜出？
我觉得应该是韩国队。
He think the KTB may get win.
We'll win the next match. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Give it up for PDD and Invictus Gaming. Congratulations once again. We'll be seeing you guys later, of course. And as for us, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because there's a lot more action coming when we come back.